if you're new here, my name is Candy. I am a mama to 5 kids. I homeschool them, and that means they are home for 3 meals a day. Plus, I have to do all their schoolwork, all their laundry, all their dishes, all that fun stuff. Of course, you know, they have their chores and they help out, but that's still a lot on me. So I like to do batch cooking, double cooking, freezer meals, freezer breakfast, whatever I can do to save my sanity later. So I did Jamerrill Stewart's Feeding My Freezer challenge, and this past week I've done all kinds of stuff to fill my freezer up. I am going to do this video in 2 parts because otherwise it's gonna be like an hour long no matter how I edit it. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you all of these different meals that I'm about to make, and then in my next one, which will be part 2, I will do soups, stews, things like that, beans, and that way it's just kind of easier and not an hour's worth of stuff all at once. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and don't forget to hit that bell so you get the notifications anytime I share a video. It is kind of a customizable thing for each family, so you can do what your family eats and skip or change things as you need to. So starting with the first night's double dinners, I had made that pork roast for dinner that night, and then the leftovers I'm using to make pans of fried rice to use later. So I cooked the rice and some red onions in the Instant Pot and then laid it on baking sheets, put those in the freezer for about an hour. It was probably a little too long because they were starting to get really stiff, but I just broke it back up and crumbled it up in my big bowl. And now I am going to get my rice ready to go so I can get it in pans and get it in the freezer. Starting with about half of this bag of mixed vegetables. It's a 2-pound bag. So I put about a pound of mixed vegetables in there. And these pineapple chunks I just had in the freezer, just a few pieces left in the bag. So I figured I'd toss those in. And then at some point I sliced and froze a zucchini that I didn't want to go bad. So I figured why not just throw that in there too, because it can't hurt, right? Just more vegetables. So I'm going to throw those in there as well and get this whole big mess mixed up and seasoned, and put some soy sauce in there and get it ready to go. Here is what's left of the pork roast all shredded up. Okay, so now all of my main ingredients are in the bowl and it is really, really full. So I'm going to season it, like I said, with black pepper and garlic, onion, ginger, and get it all mixed up the best I can in this bowl, and add the soy sauce, and then I will get it into the baking dishes and labeled it in the freezer. And we can use this fried rice either as a lunch, or we can make tempura chicken and have it as a side, or just whatever we want to do with it later, so that my nights are easier and I'm not making fried rice after a long homeschool day or after being at the children's hospital all day or whatever we have going on in life. So as you can see in the background, I have pancakes sitting there. I am in the middle of cooking my chocolate banana pancakes, so I'm going to show you all the pancakes at once after I finish showing you this fried rice that I'm getting made up. I already added the soy sauce now, and I'm just putting it into these greased pans. I forgot to pick up some foil pans, but these will work just fine. I have tons of these round cake pans, and I don't really ever use them, so I figured it wouldn't hurt to just put the rice in these. Alrighty, so now I've got all 3 pans full, and I'm just, like I said, going to label these up, and I'm just going to put them in the oven at 275 and let them cook until they are warm while I make the rest of our dinner on the given nights that we eat them, or start them when we do our read alouds, and they'll be ready by the time we're done reading. So now onto the pancakes. I did plain pancakes as well as chocolate banana pancakes because we have a surplus of bananas right now. So starting with the regular bananas, I am just making up the mix. I never read the directions on the back. I just put the powder in there, put the water in there until it looks good. So now I'm just cooking up all these pancakes while kids are getting ready for bed and making some big stacks of pancakes. I am not by any means a morning person, so having freezer breakfast on hand is a lifesaver for us because my kids like 6 a.m. I don't. So I didn't realize we were out of gallon-sized bags, so I'm just shoving as many as I can in these quart-sized bags and going with it, and this will work just fine because they can pull out more than one kind of pancake if they want to, or if some of them choose to eat breakfast burritos that we have in the freezer or muffins, they can eat those and the others can eat pancakes, whatever makes everybody happy. To make the chocolate banana ones, I just added like a cup of cocoa powder and 4 or 5 bananas, and then of course the water, and just let it mix all up until all the bananas and everything were smooth. And these are the chocolate banana ones that I made. I didn't show cooking, but there they are. There they are, all bagged up and ready to go in the freezer. Those are the plain, those are the chocolate banana. If I would have had blueberries on hand, I would have made a batch of those as well, but I don't. Okay, so on to the sandwich making part of the freezer challenge thing we're doing right now. We don't eat freezer sandwiches, we just don't. But my kids love burritos in the freezer. And I had this chicken, bean, corn, salsa stuff that we ate over rice the other day. So I just added a bunch of shredded cheese, and I am rolling this up in burritos for the kids to eat for lunch and myself to eat for lunch when I forget to eat or what have you. This is a great way to not have waste because instead of that getting lost in the fridge, it is becoming 30 burritos. I do this anytime we have leftover taco meat, refried beans, fajita meat, anything like that. I just add cheese, roll it up in tortillas, label it, put it in the freezer, and then the kids can pull out whatever they want to eat. And they either microwave them for about a minute, minute and a half, or they throw them in the air fryer because I have a few that like them crunchy. So it works for us, and we, like I said, we tried doing the sandwiches and we never ate them. So here are all my burritos ready to go in the freezer, and that was like 10 minutes work. Now on to our kid-friendly portion of it. I didn't have everything to make the corn dogs. We've done those in the past, like mini corn dogs, and they liked them, but they also will love these because they like taquitos. So I have 4 cans of black beans. I have this cheese and this little bowl, and that's just not going to work out. So I got my big bowl out, put the beans in there. I'm going to add the cheese, and then I'm going to add some ranch dressing powder. I figure we have burritos in there with like the Mexican flavors, so how about we do something different and we use the ranch flavors. So I'm just going to pour some of that in here. I'm going to mix it all up, roll up the taquitos, and have this extra lunch choice. When it comes to reheating these, it's the same thing. Either they can microwave them. These are smaller, so like 30 to 45 seconds, or they can throw them in the air fryer if they want them more crispy. So we made 60 altogether. The kids ate 20 right away while I was making them, so that left us 40 to put in the freezer. And then I also had some beans and cheese left that I filled up a quart-sized bag because I ran out of tortillas, and later I can just roll up more taquitos when we need them. So as you can see, I'm just literally putting the beans and cheese mixture in the tortillas, rolling it up, putting it on a greased pan, and then once I get them all in the pan, I'm just spraying them with some more oil. I'm baking them at 400 for 7 minutes. Then I'm turning it on to broil for not even 2 minutes. I'm just watching it until they start turning kind of crispy and brown and then pulling them out. So this time Mika wanted to help me. I was showing her how to do it. She did a few, but decided it was just too hard for her because she kept like picking them up and dumping everything out the end. So she ended up just putting the beans and cheese on the tortillas and having me roll them up and put them in the pan. But like I said, we made 60. We have 40 left for the freezer. They've already been eating down, so we probably only have like 25 or 30 left in there. So soon I will get out the rest of the bean and cheese mixture and roll up more of these. These are also really good if you have leftover shredded chicken or turkey and you do cream cheese and green chilies in them. My kids love them like that too. I absolutely love having things like this on hand in my freezer because, like I've said before, when we're in the middle of read alouds and workbooks and everybody's busy, I don't want to get up and walk away to make lunch or what have you, because once I get up and walk away, they start to drift off and walk away. And it's just so much easier if when somebody's hungry, they go get them a burrito out, warm it up, sit back down, do their work, and eat their food, and nobody's hot and bothered or running off because mom did. Okay, so I'm doing this just because it came to mind that this would be a good idea to do this. So I am washing some pinto beans, sorting them out, and I'm putting them in my Instant Pot for 1 hour. Here they are all finished. I'm going to drain most of the liquid out, put them in my mixer, and I'm just going to let them mix until I have refried beans. I know that typically, like if you buy refried beans in a can, they just come plain beans. But I always doctor mine up, so that's what I'm going to do here as well. Add chili powder, paprika, cumin, oregano, all that good stuff because I like my beans to have flavor. So anyways, that's what I'm going to do after they get kind of mixed up pretty well. I'll add all the spices. Here they are all added in. And again, I'm just going to let it mix until they're all mixed thoroughly in there. And the beans are broke down just a little bit more, but still a little bit lumpy. I don't know. I like to have some beans in there. So I'm going to get these mixed up, bagged up, and in the freezer. And this will give us 2 sides of refried beans to have when we have enchiladas, tacos, tostadas, what have you. I can just pull these out. We have fresh refried beans. And I don't have to worry about using the Instant Pot last minute to cook beans for an hour to make refried beans. Okay, so they are all mixed up and done. Like I said, I like my beans to have a little bit of chunky bean texture to them. But here they are all bagged up and ready to go in the freezer for future meals. Okay, so now I'm putting a whole chicken and 3 leg quarters in my slow cooker with some just salt, pepper, and water. I'm just going to cook this overnight, and in the morning, debone it, shred it up, put it in a bag in the freezer, put all the bones back in the slow cooker, cook them for 24 hours, and then strain it all out and have bone broth for the freezer as well. This was just because I was in meal prep mode, so why not do it, right? And then once I get this going on low, I'm going to go over to my Instant Pot. Well, that's what it looked like when it was done, the chicken, but it still has to cool off and all that before I can debone it. And I didn't video any of it deboned or me starting the broth, so I'll have to show you guys that another time. But anyways, over here at the Instant Pot, at the same time, I started this pork loin, which is some water and some sugar-free Head Country barbecue sauce. What I'm doing here is cooking this up to make pulled pork to go in the freezer. That is some balsamic vinegar. I'm adding that to it as well. And I also peeled and just kind of wedged up a red onion and stuck that in there too, just for extra flavor. So anyways, I'm cooking this in the Instant Pot because I know it'll make it extra tender and easy for me to shred up. Here it is when it's done cooking. All I did was let it cool, shredded it up, added just a little bit of the broth back to it in the Ziploc bags, and froze it. Okay, so now I'm going to get some slow cooker, Instant Pot, just that kind of stuff ready to just be able to pop in the oven, Instant Pot or slow cooker. So starting with these ranch tacos, I could have just used like a taco seasoning packet, but I don't like to use those, so I am adding red pepper flakes, oregano, chili powder, onion, and cumin, and that is ranch dressing seasoning. Like I said, you could just use a taco packet and a ranch dressing packet, whatever. You do what works for you. So I'm just mixing this up. Later, I can just throw this in the Instant Pot for like 25 minutes, shred it up, and we will have ranch tacos. And that will be with very little prep from me because all I have to do is just dump it in there. Okay, for chicken marinara, I'm going to use the last 3 of these chicken breasts, marinara sauce, parsley, onion, Italian seasoning, and some minced garlic. So I'm literally just going to put all this in the bag so I can freeze it up, and then I'll put it in my slow cooker one morning, let it cook for 6 to 8 hours on low. The last 30 minutes, I will break up the chicken and add my pasta, put the lid back on it, and let it cook until the pasta is soft enough and ready to eat. So, again, an easy, no muss, no fuss, no mess, all that good stuff, because I'll just be dumping it in my slow cooker later. So I added my marinara. I put a little bit of water in the jar, shook it up just so that I could get any loose sauce out of the jar. And now I'm just going to add the parsley, onion powder, minced garlic, and Italian seasoning. I like to use like penne or bow tie noodles when I make this, and like I said, I just chop up the chicken with the hamburger chopper thing that you can get from Walmart or Pampered Chef or wherever. I just like to break up the chicken with that, add the noodles for about 30 minutes at the end, and then when I scoop it into everybody's bowls, I like to throw some shredded cheese on top, and it's just a quick chicken marinara for dinner. And like I keep saying over and over, no work from me, because I just like to have things like this on hand. It just makes my life easier, and as much as I love to cook and love to be in the kitchen, sometimes there just isn't time for all that. So I'm just getting it all mixed up and all the seasoning mixed up through the whole bag. Okay, so that is ready to go. And doesn't that look good? I don't know. This is one of my favorite things to make as a freezer meal. So it's ready to go in the freezer, and we're going to move on to the next meal. Okay, so now I'm going to do this garlic lime chicken. I have parsley, minced garlic, lime juice, and I have these bell peppers because why not? So now I'm going to put about 1/3 of a bag of chicken leg quarters into my Ziploc bag, and once I have those in there, I'm just adding the bell peppers, breaking them up a little bit, and then I'm going to start adding all my spices like my parsley, my garlic, and then, of course, lime juice. I'm probably using like 1/4 of a cup of lime juice. I added quite a bit in there. And again, just massaging it around, getting it mixed up so that I can just cook this up real easily. Typically, I bake this and I put the white rice in the bottom of the pan. Just put this right over the top of it and add some water. Cover it up and cook it till the rice is done. Okay, so we are moving on, and I'm getting this just 1/3 of the package ready and seasoned to go in the smoker at a later date. This is the Amazing Burger seasoning from Aldi. It has like liquid smoke and all kinds of good stuff in it, and we love it. So I'm just going to use that and some minced garlic with olive oil. So now I'm putting the second third of the chicken in the bag so that I can just literally put the garlic and seasoning in there, massage it up, put it to the side, and move on. About 2 weeks ago, we had a bunch of chicken that Mika actually put up in the freezer for me, and she did 3 bags with a cup of salsa in each one. She did 3 bags with ranch packets in each, or equivalent to a ranch packet in each one, and she did 3 bags of chicken with Italian dressing in each one, and she did 2 with just barbecue sauce in them. So we also have those in the freezer, and we can pull on any of those or pull out any of these throughout the next month or so and just have easy meals. So we definitely have a variety of options and can use whichever we want. We also have, of course, packages of chicken that are just plain chicken in there. So if we decide to do something that wasn't already planned. Okay, so this is oven barbecue chicken. I just baked this in the oven for an hour at 350. I uncover it, I baste it, and then I just let it cook a little bit longer until the barbecue sauce and the skin are kind of crispy on top of the chicken. So now I'm going to add about 3/4 of this jar of barbecue sauce, and the little squeegee McGidget thing that at the end of the barbecue fell in there with the chicken. So I'm just throwing that away and adding more barbecue sauce to my chicken. I like to make this when the weather's bad or it's too windy to grill, but we're in the mood for barbecue. So I usually make this with like potato wedges or something like that, or even potato salad or macaroni salad on the side. I don't know. It's just kind of like when you're wishing it was summer, it's a good dinner to have. And if you cook it in the oven, it keeps the house warm when it's cold outside. So again, I'm getting this mixed up and ready to go in the freezer. Okay, so that is ready. And again, super easy to just throw in the bag and close it up and throw it in the freezer, and just as easy to just pull it out and throw it in the oven. So it just saves me time if I just do a few of these at once when I buy the meat at the store. I just, set it in the fridge, and after the kids go to bed, I can just throw these together. So there's my garlic lime chicken. There is my oven barbecue chicken marinara, and chicken for the smoker, and then chicken ranch tacos. So that rounds out everything on part 1 of my Feeding My Freezer challenge. I hope that you will come back next time for part 2 to watch all the soups, stews, beans, and all that jazz I'm going to make. Thanks, guys. Bye.